What's up guys, my name is Doe and today I just want to give you guys a build for Strikers, and I'm trying my hardest to make the audio for these videos on this weapon, but it is rough because they're kind of weird in Escalation. Like, Strikers are a different weapon in Escalation because normally Strikers are seen as the best weapon in the entire game, right? I do not think that's the case in Escalation. I do not find them that, like, they're not the end all be all when it comes to being like super strong in Escalation. They're not bad by any means, but there are other choices you could probably pick that would change your life in a more positive way than Strikers. Now, in saying that, some of y'all like Strikers, and I want to make a build video for all the weapons in Dauntless, all like the main ones at least, for this Escalation. And that includes Strikers, so all the rambling aside, let's go ahead and get into the build. I decided to go with the Hellion Strikers because they offer me very good cell slots and overpower on the weapon as a stat, which is very helpful for what I'm trying to do, which is get really good cell slots and really good cell options. The special I chose for Strikers will be the Titan's Crash. This gives you a giant AoE clap that can hit multiple behemoth parts and behemoths at the same time. There is a cap for this attack, and I believe it is either 3 or 4 different targets for the AoE, so just know there's a cap. Not sure how many, but there's a cap, so that's important. Now, my modifier I've chosen for this build is Echo Brace Driver. This is not normally chosen for Strikers because it's normally not that good, since crit chance isn't that good outside of this Escalation. But in this Escalation, crit chance is amazing. It's really fun, it's really neat, and I like it a lot. And because of that, I have the Echo Brace Driver, where critical strikes increase the damage dealt by Karma Breaker's damage over time effect, or the dot, by 5% until the debuff or the dot ends or is refreshed. And the cool thing about Karma Breaker, which is your second technique, which takes 2 monsters to use, which, by the way, if you guys do not know how to use Strikers, I do have a Strikers guide on my channel. The only thing in that video that's outdated that I'm aware of is that the damage on Strikers has been nerfed a little bit. So that's the only major change that I'm aware of. And if you don't know how to use Strikers, that video will help you a lot. And anyway, Karma Breaker is really cool in Escalation because on the dual behemoth hunts, where you have 2 behemoths at the same time, you can use Karma Breaker on one behemoth and then also use it, if you build it up again, on a different behemoth. And if you hit both the behemoths at the same time, it'll apply it to both of them at the same time, which is kind of a neat little thing. Very hard to do, and I don't even think I have footage of myself doing it, but I have done it before. So if you can line it up perfectly, that can happen. But otherwise, just know you can apply both these dots, or you can apply Karma Breaker to multiple behemoths. Doesn't matter if it's just one, you can apply it to multiple of them, and it does help out in terms of increasing your damage, and it just looks cool. You feel like a Shadow Priest that has like 2 shadowy brass knuckles that apply dot damage. I don't know. I'm not really sure like how a better way to describe that is, but it's really nice. It's cool. I enjoy it. So hopefully you guys will too. Now, the armor I've chosen is the Shroud Helmet with the Boreas chest piece, Reza gloves, and the Boreas feet. Keep in mind that this gear could be swapped around to where you have the Reza helmet, Boreas chest piece, Boreas gloves, and Boreas feet. You'll have the exact same cells if you have them in if you do it correctly, and the only difference is the resistance on the armor and having different pieces. So if you have other pieces and not the ones I just suggested, you can swap it around to make it work for you. That's how it works. And my perk summary is going to be +6 Conduit, Cunning, Discipline, Iceborne, Overpower, and Rage. So I'm going for a high crit chance. That's why I have Cunning and Discipline. That gives me 25% crit chance, and Cunning will give me 30% extra critical severity, or crit hit severity. And as usual, this build does have Iceborne, and to explain my reasoning for the recent Iceborne in the builds, the explanation is that it's very freaking strong in Escalation. It's pretty much the meta in Escalation. So I'd be dumb not to use it, and I'd be very dumb not to make content using builds that have it because it's a really good sell. Like, it's really, really good in Escalation. I might as well do that. That's just like, explaining, because I keep getting comments going, "Hey, Doe, we thought you didn't like Iceborne." Well, you'd be happy to know that we as a collective, as an entire Dauntless community, like Iceborne. Hashtag we like Iceborne. Anyway, moving on to my lantern, I have the Koshai's Bloom. And this is a lot of fun on Strikers. It makes the weapon more mobile, and I'll explain how that works in a second. but the instant cast gives you 10% of damage dealt will now heal you for 8 seconds. This is a lifesteal mechanic, so it can help you out a little bit if you're getting bodied and you need a lot of lifesteal really fast. And the hold to cast is a dash in a direction. You deal 750 damage to nearby enemies upon arrival. It says dash, but it's more of like a teleport, and it goes pretty far. It goes decently far. It goes far enough to where it's hard to use if you're up close to a behemoth, unless it's like a really long behemoth. So using the dash for damage isn't very smart. However, using the dash for movement or using it for other cool things is very helpful. And aside from movement, you can use this lantern for a lot of different things. One of them is avoiding damage. This is like an iframe. If you use the hold to cast at the right moment, you get immunity to damage, and you can also reposition yourself in a better spot or avoid damage, all these kind of things. And you can also cancel your attacks while using the hold to cast. So let's say you're swinging with the hammer and you're about to get hit, and you're like, oh, I want to go ahead and not get hit. That'd be awesome. You can do that if you use the hold to cast at the right time. And even if you don't time it correctly, you can use the hold to cast to get back up a lot quicker than you normally would. And the last thing I'll say for the lantern is that if you guys are using your Titan's Crash ability, if you have 3 mantras, you're about to use it, you can cast it, and then right before casting it, you can use your hold to cast, and you'll teleport with the lantern, and at the end of your teleport pathway, you'll unleash the clap on the behemoth, which sounds awful, not a good name for it, but it's what happens. You will clap behemoth cheeks after you teleport. It's pretty cool. It's a little neat feature. It adds some pizzazz to Strikers in a nice little way. But overall, this lantern is my suggestion for playing Strikers. It makes it more fun. It keeps you from being stun locked for ages, because you can get these combos from dual behemoths that make it not enjoyable to play Strikers in Escalation. It can be just such a giant pain. But having Coach Lantern makes it more enjoyable, makes it more fun, and I do highly suggest using it. Anywho, that is the end of the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, hopefully you liked it, and if you did, it'd be cool if you left a like on the video, commented, or subscribed. Any of those things help out the channel a ton. And for anyone shopping on the Epic Games Store or the in-game Dauntless store, make sure you're using a credit code. If you guys want, use my credit code, it's OhDough. Doing so gives me a small percentage back from the purchases you all make, and it helps out immensely. So thank you very much for doing that. And in case I forget, if I don't make another video before Christmas, I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone. I hope you guys have a great time. And again, thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.